This episode is sponsored by Anderson PR.
So if you want to get into trading, I think the first thing is to know why. Know your why. Don't just come into it thinking, hey, I just want to make a lot of money and leave my job. It's not.
Welcome everybody back to another exciting show of the About That Water podcast, where we help the sandwich generation build strong financial habits so that they can spend money, talk about money, and enjoy their money with confidence. And today I have an awesome opportunity to bring somebody on who is the owner of Bullionite, actually the founder of Bullionite. And so you're kind of wondering, like, what the heck is Bullionite? Well, Bullionite is a comprehensive platform designed to help empower individuals in the world about financial trading. And I know a lot of you have been asking me about, Anthony, can we talk more about trading? I want to learn more about stocks. I want to learn about more commodities. How can my child get part of this? This is the episode for you. Welcome, Mukarram. Did I say that right?
Thank you, Anthony. Really appreciate it. I love the way you said, also enjoy the money that you make. I love that you said that, because a lot of people kind of restrict themselves and then they feel very stressed out. And I love that you said that. And we want to help many people accomplish their goals,
Yeah, and so that's one of the passions, and the main question about all of it is, how do we start? Like, what is a good plan to get started in trading?
Yeah, I mean, if it's trading that you want to take part in, people come to it sometimes with the wrong premise. Okay, so we want to help fix that first, because a lot of people, when they come to me and say, "Hey, Mukarram, I'd love to learn trading. I can see that you guys have done really well in it, and other people that you're coaching," but then they tell me, "I don't really want to work a lot. I don't want I don't want to have rules because I'm escaping my job to trade, right?" And I was like, well, this is probably going to be more work, more rules, but it won't feel like work because you're doing something that you love and you enjoy. So I think that's the first kind of misconception with trading that we want to help people with, that if you approach trading thinking that it's going to just be this easy kind of lackadaisical thing that you'll do whenever you feel like, it's not going to really get you where you want to get to. But if you take it in an intelligent, sophisticated approach with the right mentors, and make sure your mentors are playing when they're coaching. Okay, because they can't just be coaching if they're not playing. This is that kind of a game. Okay, then it will lead to an amazing, beautiful place in your life where you will get the freedom that you want, and then you'll be able to live life in your own terms, right? Like on your own terms. But so if you want to get into trading, I think the first thing is to know why. Know your why. Don't just come into it thinking, hey, I just want to make a lot of money and leave my job. It's not going to work. Okay, and then after that, take a scientific approach to it. Like, work with someone who can teach you good trading systems, good trading rules, because later you'll become a very good fusion of that and you'll have your own ways of trading, right? But at least in the beginning, like, how Tony Robbins says, success leaves clues. Yeah. So make sure you go that route.
Now, you talk about these trading systems and trading rules. Do you have like a set of rules that you follow when you trade?
Yeah, like over the years, like, you have to go through the evolution, right? So with God's grace, I've been very fortunate to have really good mentors. And I've been doing this for almost 20 years now, right? Since 2005. And that's another big thing, the longevity in this industry, because you can get blown up, like the accounts can get blown up, and you don't come back and you never want to come back, right? But being in it for this long and having witnessed very different market cycles really helps, like, our clients who are part of our like alternative asset group, which is Bullionite asset group, right? That's where we help individuals with retirement accounts have alternative assets, and we grow their net worth that way. Then Bullionite is where I do all of the trading education. Okay. And one of the things that I've noticed is you have to have a set of rules that you'll begin, that maybe somebody else's rules in the beginning. But then as you get experienced and as you go through different market cycles and your emotional intelligence increases, then you will have your own set of rules that is a fusion of maybe a few different rule sets that you've learned. After that, it's your own system. Now, this is very important, Anthony. Don't go out there and pay $20,000 for a trading system or $15,000 for just one downloaded app or something that tells you, hey, we're going to give you signals, green lights, blue lights. It doesn't work like that. Okay. You have to put the work in. You have to put your hours into this, and that's when you will become great. And that's why you need to follow a certain trading system that is discretionary, meaning that somebody lets you know, how do you enter a trade? how do you get out of a trade? And that's why, if you go to our site, bullionite.com or Success is Relentless, you'll know that one of the biggest differences that I say is when we teach our students or when we teach our clients, we give you actionable ways of doing this. There's no point in saying, hey, you got to put a stop loss, but they don't teach you how to put that stop loss.
Exactly.
Right? And that's the big thing. No, and also take a trade to completion from the entry to the management of that, risk management of that trade, and to the closing of that trade.
So, because that's one of the things that we hear about a lot, which is buy low, sell high. But every time I put my money into the market, it dips. It seems like I'm buying high and I'm constantly selling low. How do we, what is considered a full cycle of a trade for you? Because I know trading can vary depending on who you talk to, from day trading, swing trading, and so forth.
Yeah, I love that you said that the different segments, right? Because when you're a complete trader, I like to say it that way. When you're a complete trader, you have the skills of a day trader, a position trader, a swing trader. If you focus on just being one, maybe in the beginning, you should learn one area, definitely. But later, in order to survive in this, with all the craziness that's out there in the world right now, you have to have the weaponry in your armor. Right? You have to be able to swing trade. You have to be able to day trade. Now, one quick thing I want to mention before I go to the first question you asked about is that day trading, please, for everyone who's listening, day trading does not mean you have to trade every day. Day trading simply means you get in the morning and then you get out before the market closes. Now, if you made some money and then you don't trade the next day or the day after because there's no setup, there's no right fundamentals, that's okay. You don't have to press the buy button and sell button every day so you can tell your friends that you're a day trader. That's a very important thing because a lot of day traders blow up their accounts or have lots of frustrations and have emotional stress over time because they think you have to trade every day or you have to trade multiple times a day. And that's one of the things that we help fix over time, because day trading simply means you get in and out inside the day. It doesn't mean you have to trade every day. Okay. Now going back to your other question about you tend to buy high or sell low and what happens, right? So let's help your audience.
I have one thing before you get there. Can you go on and talk about the different ones, since you already talked about the day trading, just so we all on the same level set? As far as the day trade, then you said swing trade.
And then there's swing trading and position trading, right? So swing trading and position trading kind of share some areas, right, in common. Like, for example, I'm a position trader and I swing trade. And what that means is I like to build massive positions in a market and then hold that position for a certain time period before I exit. Now, that's the only way you make big money in these markets. Okay. Now, once in a while, 2 out of 10 times, you'll have a big day trade and you'll make money. But if you want to make net worth changing money over time, where you want that freedom, where you don't want to go to work, the way you do it is you build big positions. So you have to understand position sizing. You have to learn all that, right, over time.
Okay.
And that's what we teach. Now, what that means is you will have a mathematically primed area that you believe is a really good entry, which is not because it's low or high, because low and high, the markets really don't care about. And we'll get to that, right? But you'll get to a mathematically primed area. You'll build a position. Sometimes it'll go back and forth, swingy. I call it swingy. Then you'll cost average down and build a bigger position. And then it runs. And then you have to have your profit targets. And then you say, you know what? I'm done. I made my money. And here's a rule I have. If you make more money than what most people make in a year in one trade, please get out. If not, the market's going to take that from you. Okay?
Okay.
This is another thing. I have a lot of people come and say, hey, I feel it's going to go up. I'm like, are you the market? Do you know everything? I mean, if you've made enough money in that trade, get out. The reason why people don't get out of a trade, Anthony, is because they don't have confidence system to get into another profitable trade. That's why people hold on to extremely profitable trades and not get out. Okay. So that's a position trade and a swing trade. So a swing trade also simply means it's that pendulum, right? You're getting in at a certain time or a certain price range. And then when it gets to a certain level, then you get out. Okay. Now here's the difference. With position trading and swing trading, it's the time. For example, you might hold a trade for a few weeks or a few months. Now, if you end up holding a trade way longer than a few months, you're an investor. You're not a trader. Okay.
Gotcha.
Keep that in mind, because a lot of people come in saying, hey, I'm a trader. I trade. But I ask them, well, how long have you held this trade? Or how long 2 years? I'm like, well, that's an investment. That's not a trade. Okay. And then the key thing, Anthony, and I love that question, is don't be the one who flip-flops in the middle of that trade. Like, let's say you get into a trade, it's not going your way. And then to convince everyone that you're right, you say, hey, you know what? I'm okay holding this for another year. So now you've made a trade into an investment, and that's where all that boiling frustration comes from.
Gotcha. Okay. So can you go on and so this helps out with buying low, selling high side of the house.
Yeah, let's get to that,
Okay.
right? So first of all, I think I am on a mission over the last few years to educate people. Obviously, we're on a mission to educate the youth because we
Yes.
believe trading is a way that we can give youth the freedom that they want, especially nowadays with everything. We'll get to that later. The monetary freedom that they need, because a lot of them have not grown up yet, right? And we have to help that. But when you talk about buy and low, let's fix this for the audience and they'll really, really appreciate this. Markets don't care whether a price is high or low. And I'm going to explain that to you, right? So the old adage is you buy low, sell high. Okay. Now, in that definition, what it means is when a price is low, what it actually means is that it's cheap. Okay. And you believe that it's cheap to you. And because you think it's low or cheap, you want to buy it. And then you want to get out of it when you think the price has gone up high enough, right? But markets don't work like that because markets are limitless, right? And this is something else that we teach, to have this limitless philosophy when it comes to money and your life and empowerment, right? Markets don't care about that because here's the reason. Let's say a price is low enough for you, but it continues to go lower. It's because the market doesn't think it's low enough. So it'll keep going lower. And there are so many different participants, right? So if you say a $5 stock, like a stock's come down from $30 to let's say $8, and you're like, oh my God, that's cheap. But the market can take it to $2. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't care how low something is. The same way with high. Like, you know how some stocks can go up like from $20 to $80, and then you think, oh my God, I want to get out. Yeah. But then it goes to 160, it goes to 200, it goes to 300, because the market does not think it's high enough. So the way you solve this is never get in because you think numerically the price is low, or never get out because you think numerically the price is high. What you need to do is you need to get in when a market is oversold, and you get out when a market is overbought. And let's take a little bit of time to help people understand what oversold and overbought, what's the difference? Because some people go, it's the same thing, isn't it? Like oversold sounds like it's too low, overbought seems like it's too high. No. Here's how I define oversold. Oversold is a market that has continuously come down over time. And at one point, the selling pressure is waning. And it feels more and more difficult for it to go lower. So the next highest probability direction is for that market to turn around and then go up. That's why you buy oversold markets. Now, the same thing in the same breath, is the exact opposite in overbought. An overbought market is a market that has gone up for a significant period of time, and the price finds it very difficult to go higher, right? It'll keep bouncing. And like, for example, gold right now, gold's gone from $1,800 an ounce to $3,500 an ounce, right? Now for the last month and a half or so, gold's trying to go up, but it's high. That's why you shouldn't be buying gold. You should be buying silver, because silver hasn't gone up yet, right? Now what you need to do is, when you see that happening, you get out of that market, because the highest probability direction for that market is to turn around and come down. So a lot of people go, okay, Mukarram, if I want to get in on oversold markets and get out in overbought markets, how do I really do it? Well, there's a very simple mathematical indicator that will tell you when a market is oversold and overbought. And that's called a relative strength index, RSI. If you want to learn more about it, you want to learn how to use it, because there are some nuances to it, we'll go over, reach out to me, through the podcast, through the links we give you. But that is the best way that you can get into a market and get out of a market and then set up your trades.
That's great. Because one of the things I always struggled with was the RSI. Like, I've seen it. I was like, okay, is it close to 1? Is it not close to 1? Gotta come back up.
It's because, so where that comes from, Anthony, is because the premise of the trade is based on fundamental research rather than the math, right?
Gotcha.
So here's what I always say. Fundamentals are great, but fundamentals are things that everyone knows. Or some people know something before other people. Usually people with more money know something before other people, right? So that's the problem. Like I live in, Newport Beach, Irvine area. Like, that's where our office is. I mean, if you look behind us, there's more money here than most people's places in the world, But what I will say is, even if you put all that money together, you still won't know everything that's going to happen in every country, in every situation, right?
That's true.
So that's why the news or the fundamental analysis should not be the premise of the trade. So here's how you should build a trade based on the math, right? Because the price action will tell you everything. And then you build the trade on, primed math. Then what happens is, when your fundamental analysis ends up being right, it makes a good trade extraordinary. That's what happens. So when the fundamentals come into play, it makes a good trade extraordinary. And that way you won't be frustrated. Because look at where we are today, right? We're with, in a time in our country where we have an administration that's very news cycle oriented. And it also affects the markets every day. Now imagine if someone's trading just based on the news. Hey, what's going to happen in the summit yesterday? Or what's going to happen over the weekend? Or then it's really going to get them like whipsawing everywhere, and then they'll lose a lot of money.
That is
so you set up the trade based on math, and then let the fundamentals come in, and then it'll make a good trade extraordinary.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense now. I need to get better at that. So I more than likely might need to sign up for the youth program. Can you elaborate a little bit more about that youth program that you guys have?
So, a couple of years ago, as with God's grace, as we continue to grow and we've done well in the markets, one of the things I noticed is, especially since I have kids as well, right? I noticed that kids are losing their desire for really getting educated about something or getting good at something, right? Because like I have now he's 9, but he's 10. Yeah, he's about to be 10. But he comes up to me a couple of years ago and he goes, well, I don't really need to go to college because Mr. Beast makes so much money on YouTube, right?
Yep.
So now, when I hear that, it didn't upset me because I love the social economy. I love what it's done for the youth and where they can go. Like there are people, 21, 22-year-olds who are multimillionaires now because of that, right? But what I've noticed is a lot of these individuals, because they lack those foundational skills, they don't know how to manage that money. They don't know how to sustain that business. They don't know how to keep it for the next 10 years and then build a legacy. So this is why I thought to myself, hey, trading is one of the best ways of creating wealth, because I call it creating money, and that's why if you go to my website, you'll say, the concept of money is limitless. And then we call creation of money, not earning money, because everyone lives in the rules of earning money. But when you start shifting your mindset to creating money, all of those rules don't apply. Everything that our parents, our grandparents, our teachers, our professors taught us, it doesn't make sense when you start creating money. And that's something that we want to teach. The other thing is, I'm noticing that a lot of the youth, like either they are motivated, or if they're not motivated, then they end up being late, right? When they get out of the house or they build their own life, right? They're not like forever living with their parents. So what I wanted to do is for the ages between 16 and 22. Now I chose that very specifically because that's about a junior in high school and a junior in college. Anywhere between 16 to 22 is where the most kind of impactful, and that's the most important time in their life when they're deciding some things, right? Like when you're in high school and you're a junior, you're just becoming that person who's taking a little bit more responsibility. When you're a junior in college, you're understanding, hey, I've messed up, or I have to do some more things, right? So what I want to do is between the ages of 16 and 22, I want to teach them this beautiful skill of how to create money from an idea that comes up in your brain that becomes something that allows you to click a buy button and a sell button and make more money than most people sometimes make in a year, right? But you can't just teach that way, because for me, trading is 75% mental, 25% skill. So in this program, what I do is I help the kids understand all of these mental skills, confidence, becoming a warrior in your mind, right? And then understanding how to deal with adversity, because your emotional intelligence, because there could be 50, 60-year-olds, they have a bad trade and their emotional intelligence is low, so they mess up the next 5 trades. So these are things, if we can give those skills, like I was thinking, if I was given those skills when I was 18 years old or 19, I mean, today it would be a way different place than today. You know what I mean? And I want to give that back or pay it forward to the youth, because that's our generation, man. Like nowadays, look at what's going on around the world, right?
Yeah, give me that.
And that's why I'm doing that. And hopefully, with God's grace, individuals like you and podcasts, we want to spread this as much as possible. And here's how the program works. It's a 12-week session where I teach every week my way of trading on top of all the mental skills. Then after the 12 weeks, the people who are chosen, right, they go through a kind of an application process, and then there's an interview process, and those either 10 kids or whoever that are chosen for that group. Then the 3 best students of that 12-week session are then given $10,000 to trade.
Wow. Okay.
Now, whoever, so that's 5,000 for the first, 3,000 to the second, and 2,000 to the third, right? Whoever makes the best percentage return from that money in the next 30 days or 60 days gets to keep all of it.
Wow.
Yeah. And we call it the Bullionite Trader of the Year, the Young Trader of the Year. And I think that is really going, because I have some people who've gone through that program, some youth, sometimes 18, 19 years old, and they've come to me and say, hey, Mukarram, I'm changing the way I'm doing my college courses now. I'm choosing things that's going to help my destiny, not just follow a path. And that's the reward. And then what happens is if they're really good, they also have the ability to become prop traders with us down the road. So that's another career path for them.
I like the pipeline. Like, I'm a business strategist at heart. Like, I love the pipeline. Get them in, get them educated. And also when you hire them on, you already know their skill set.
Yeah, because
Right.
the other good thing is we like people who want to learn it from the grassroots up, right? We don't want bad habits, right? So individuals who've traded for 10 years somewhere else have really bad habits, gone through burnout. But also we want to give the youth like, hey, there's a career for you. There is an opportunity, but you have to be good. You have to be elite. You can't be mediocre, because that's what's happened. Everyone wants to be mediocre, right? And that's the message we're giving the youth. Hey, if you excel, if you become elite, the world is yours.
And I think they got lost along the way as the generations have been on, because like you said, there's so many cameras being put on people now that they losing sight of, that passion behind going all in and doing the work. So going back to like making that money, how do you, what is the strategy or tactics that the person that's listened to this to kind of get out of that scarcity mindset around money to kind of go to that abundance mindset?
Beautiful question, man. I love it. And I like to take things in layers, right? So let's give this in like layers so people have an actual actionable way of making a change today after this show, So first, in order to get to that abundance mentality and getting out of that scarcity mentality you have with money, first you have to change the definition of what money is to you. Okay. And I'm going to help people with this. Money is not your currency. Time is your currency. And quickly, I want people to understand why I say this, because there's unlimited amounts of money. I mean, just look behind me,
Yeah.
or go to any great city in the world. You'll see there's unlimited amounts of money. So money is not scarce, right? It's an unlimited resource, but time is limited for the human being. So here's a very important mindset shift that you have to do. Do not exchange a limited resource for an unlimited resource without a massive value transaction. You have to get value, not price for that. So if someone comes and says, hey, I'll give you $20 an hour. No, thank you. Right? You can start off when you're young. Yeah, you can start, but that's why we're teaching this to the 16-year-olds, 18-year-olds, 20-year-olds. Yeah, you can go to McDonald's. You can work there. It's okay because you need that, right?
Yep.
But always remember, you want to give more and more value so that the amount of money that they're going to give you is going to be significantly higher than the amount of time that you're going to give somebody, right? That's number one. So that's the first way to get to that abundance. The second thing is to understand money in all ways of defining it is a created asset. Like our Fed prints it every time, right?
Yeah.
So you can't quantify money. This is very important, people. You can't say, hey, that thing's too expensive, so I don't want to buy it, right? Because it's a crazy, right? Like there are watches that are $300,000. There are watches that are $1.5 million. That should tell you that money has no value, really. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's why don't make it miserable for yourself by saying, hey, I shouldn't drive a beautiful car. I shouldn't live in this beautiful neighborhood. I shouldn't let my kids have these beautiful things. Because those things, if you say it that way, you're quantifying money. And when you quantify money, what happens is you have the shackles of poverty on it.
I didn't even think about that. The shackles of poverty.
Yeah, it puts it on in your mind. And here's the best way I explain shackles of poverty, right? A lot of the listeners may have gone to San Francisco. I'm sure you would have been there, right? You have the Bay, and then you have Alcatraz. It's like you're put in Alcatraz and asked to look at the Bay and say, hey, well, that's the view. You can't get it. Okay. That's the problem when you keep saying, I can't afford it. All those words, right? You know how Bruce Lee said words are like spells, right?
Yes. Yep.
Don't say scarcity words to your children, to yourself, to your significant others, like, I can't afford this, or this is too expensive. Because then you're making money limited, and therefore that abundance doesn't come in your life. Now, here's my final point about this, okay? And this is a beautiful secret about the universe. The universe will only refill you if you empty yourself. And this is very important. If you have knowledge, spread it. Give it out. Don't hold it. Proprietary knowledge. I don't want people to know how I make money. I don't want people to do better than me, so I'm not going to give them my secrets.
Right.
Then the universe is not going to give you more knowledge. If you have time and you hold on to your time, universe won't give you more time. You know how some people say, hey, 24 hours is not enough. It's because they don't have the blessings in their time because they don't give from their time, you know? And the same thing with money. Don't hold on to your money so tightly because the universe will not refill you. Now, here's the beautiful thing about the universe. Because the universe is limitless, unlike us, it only refills you when it thinks you deserve it, right? That's number one. So that means you have to be giving from your knowledge, your time, your money, your expertise. The other thing is, because the universe is so powerful, when it refills you, it always advances you to the next level. It's beautiful.
And there's a scripture for those of you who are listening. They do talk about like if you give and you're supposed to get tenfold on whatever you're giving, which is, man, you're preaching today.
But you know, we have to have those principles, right, that guide us. And then you realize that when you sit down and reflect and you have a self-care routine on a daily basis and you're connecting, whoever you call, like a source or universe or God, right? When you're connecting, then you're given that wisdom where you're thinking like, okay, how do I do this? How do I get through these challenges? Because I remember you asking in one of your podcasts about how have some people gotten over their adversities and things like that. The way that happens is when you connect with your source. And that's what you just said, you know?
Yeah. And so, Mukarram, how has it been with the conversation of your parents now that you've been doing this for so long? Like, did they instill you into this, or were you just like, you know, I don't feel like working for anybody else. I need to learn trading. Like, I just need to get this right.
Well, I mean, that's an interesting story because my dad's a doctor, right? And I was supposed to go to medical school. I actually went to one of the baby doctors programs, you know, in Florida at the University of Miami during the summer program that they had while I was in college, right? And I remember when I was there, the dean of the med school at that time of that program asked me, hey, are you coming back? And I said, I'm not coming back because there's 13 more people who deserve to be here than I do, because I wasn't happy. I wasn't, you know, at 4 a.m. in the morning, we were doing cadaver dissections at the Jacksonville Memorial Hospital as part of that summer program. And I liked it. I was good at it. But then I was like, hey, this is not what I want. It doesn't make me happy. Right. So I was given an ultimatum by my dad. He was like, hey, if you're not going to do this, then you got to pay back everything I paid you for college.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty much. So then I said to myself, hey, I mean, I got to figure this out. It's not his fault because, you know, there was an agreement, right? We make agreements with people.
That's good.
And then I think that fueled me. And the universe helps you when you know your why. I knew my why. Like, I didn't want to be around inside hospitals, right? It wasn't making me happy. So I knew my why. I wanted to help people in a different way. And for me, helping people make money or create money is a big deal. And it really gives them so much freedom, right? And so that's why. Now, here's what happened after that, God willing, with time, when I was able to do that, and then I was able to get to the abundance over time, right? Now they don't say anything because you help them, you take care of them. They don't say anything. They're like, oh, this is great, you know, this is a good choice that you made. That's how it always is with parents, right? God bless them, they love us, and they have the most love for you that they can, you know, even if they don't show it to you sometimes. But I think it's important for us to know what speaks to us and communicate that with your parents, and then be able to, without causing too much of a rift, show them, hey, I think you've done your job and I can go from here.
Yeah. And I think that's the proud moment of a parent, to really say, like, you know what, I can trust them out in the world today.
Yeah. And I think it's also something that I've realized because since I've had kids, right? And, you know, we go through different phases, right? We become very controlling. We become these helicopter parents. And then we start saying, okay, start reading all these books and figuring out like, let's do a different strategies.
Mhm.
But I think the best thing is when you can have that balance of allowing them to shine without breaking down the boundaries. Because one of the biggest things with kids, because I remember you and I, when we talked about, you said, you know, a lot of the viewers have kids and we want to help kind of make them understand. The biggest thing that I also teach in my program is the decision-making matrix. Because
Great
the
matrix.
youth and kids, if they're not taught how to make good decisions, they tend to ruin their lives very early on. And then it's a hole that they can't really get out of, right? So it's very important that we teach our kids how to make good decisions. And there is a formula for that. And I think that's important for parents.
Okay, I definitely bringing back memories for the decision making matrix. Like we use that a lot, even in risk management. Like everything has a matrix for what you need to put together. Man, this is great. So as the person is listening to this is like, okay, we understand how Bullionite is out there helping out everybody. We understanding who Mukarram is. What does the future look like for Mukarram?
The future is definitely in a grateful path, okay? Where following some of the core principles that have allowed us to grow, not just in business, but also as human beings, and to make sure that we continue to rise other people. We have to raise other people, right? That's why I love my prop traders. We want to make sure that they get better and better. I would love to see them open up their own firms and do their great things, right? That's why we do the youth programs. So for me, I definitely want to continue to build the different revenue streams. That's one of the big reasons that I think with God's blessings, we are where we are today because we have multiple revenue sources, right? That's why, like I said, we have the alternative asset group where we help clients with alternative assets. Then we do cryptocurrencies in retirement accounts and outside retirement accounts. We do gold and silver, physical gold and silver. We do real estate. And that was over time because we've been doing this for 15 plus years, almost 20 years just as an individual, right?
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Right now, we're expanding into international Airbnbs, right, in different countries, because we're looking at that, especially with some of the changes that have happened with the dollar and everything over the last few years. The dollar goes further outside the country, right? And so the future is building different layers of multiple revenue sources, but not just for greed, but to raise other people to their high levels of accomplishment.
I like that. So, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we dive into the final 4 questions?
I hope we were able to give as much value as we can in the short time, right? And I think we try to go into some areas that are a little bit controversial, but at the same time, we're trying to fix people's mindset with that, right? And I think what I want people to know is if they're looking for us, our alternative asset firm was called Blackstone Commodity Group. It's now changed to Bullionite Asset Group. So if you want to go to, if you have a retirement account, if you have questions about, hey, how do I increase my net worth with this new philosophy, you could go to blackstonecommodity.com and also Bullionite. Okay, Bullionite is the trading education arm of my company where we help people, coach people on trading and things like that. So that's one. So if you want to learn how to reach out to me. The other thing is I always give my office direct number, 949-200. If you have something that you want to make a change in your life and with your path, right, in financial path, give me a call. My executive assistant is Crystal. She'll schedule an appointment and we'll talk just like this. The other thing is I want people to walk away from this interview or this podcast knowing that abundance mentality will give you the freedom that you're looking for. And I think we touched on how to get there. So if you want to go and listen to that a couple more times, that's what's going to make you happy because happiness is an inside job, right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that is.
That's one of the things I'd always say. I have a small phrase. I actually created a shirt, but I haven't put up on my website in a while, pulled it down, but it's called Uncomfortably Happy. And meaning that you have to really be in an uncomfortable space, but happiness is that choice. And you have to be just everything's around you is going to chaos. You just got to be happy in the chaos until you find your true happiness. And understanding that really the true happiness is you. You can always
Love
smile.
it, man.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's great. That's a great episode. Final 4 questions are the final 4 questions that we ask every guest so we can get to know a little bit more about you. All right, you ready?
Yeah, sure.
Alrighty. So number 1, what does wealth mean to you?
Wealth simply means that you can say yes to the things you want to say yes to and no to the things you want to say no to. That's what wealth is for me.
Most simplest. I like that. Number 2, what was your worst money mistake?
My worst money mistake was not taking losses early, holding on to either trades, thinking with an ego that I'm right, my thesis is correct, even though things have changed around me, and hopium. Hopium is the worst thing when it comes to money, right? When you make a mistake, cut your losses early so you can go back, do another trade, make that back, and then some more.
Awesome. Number 3, is there a book that inspired your journey or changed your perspective?
I mean, there's many books. It's hard to give you one, but one, it's very interesting how we said one. The title of the book is The One Thing. I love that book. I love that book because it taught me 2 things. In that book, it talks about the domino effect. And I know everyone talks about the domino effect, right? The compounding effect and all that. But there's an image, and I think you'll see it online or you can Google it, where it shows where if you take the right dominoes, right, starting from the smallest domino and then you start putting it down, somewhere down the road, one domino, it reaches the moon. That's the leverage power that you have. And to me, that really shaped me because what that told me was if you micro things and take things step by step, day by day, then one day you can reach the moon, you know? So The One Thing. It's great.
Such a great book. I have to go back and read that one. That's such a good book.
Yeah, I loved it.
Number 4, what is your favorite dish to make?
To make, I love to cook. I'm not a great cook where I can put all the ingredients together and I know how everything goes, but I do cook some really good dishes. One thing that I love is a good fish with olive oil and Turkish rice on the side. That's called bulgur wheat, I think. Now, the reason I like it that way is because it brings out the taste of the fish. It's simple. It's like my philosophy. Don't overcomplicate things, execute, and then it's such a delicious dish.
I'm gonna have to definitely take a look into that. Is there any type of fish
Yeah, branzino is good. Sea bass is good. Mahi mahi is a little bit difficult with that style, but most of the white fishes are great.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna have to try that out one day. All right. So this is the very last question, which you already answered before, but this is just to kind of wrap up the show, which is where can people find out more about you?
Yeah. Quickly, thank you. I appreciate you asking me that again. If you have an IRA, a 401k, a previous 401k, and you want to get involved in alternative assets, you can get in touch with Blackstone Commodity Group, which the name is getting changed to Bullionite Asset Group, right? So you can still go to blackstonecommodity.com. Somewhere in the next couple of weeks or so, that will forward to Bullionite, and then you'll see Bullionite Asset Group. I've given my phone number 949-200-7047. If you want help with trading, you're a novice, you're green, or you have never done it, or you're a senior trader, you want to learn more, you can get to my education site of Bullionite and then get in touch with us there. info@bullionite.com is the email address, and then Bullionite is the website where we can help you with the trading coaching. And that's also where we host our Young Trader of the Year competition.
All right. Mukarram, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Definitely, listener, if you got anything out of this, or you know somebody that's going through some tough times right now with this scarcity mindset and they just trying to get out of that rut financially and they just don't know where to go, definitely share this episode with them. And remember that you only can put one shoe on at a time. Don't try to make things complicated. Tie your laces. All right, everybody. We out.
Thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it.